Let me just get my computer turned on. I was eating some lunch, y'all. My other dog is gonna want to come in the room here in a sec. I can hear him coming up the stairs. How's everyone doing? How's it going today? Oh dang, it was a fire. As the kids would say. Hey Davey, good to see you. Appreciate today's suggestions. Today's suggestion on alternate timelines is 100% based off what you said. It was a really great suggestion. But as a way for more people to show up, best of luck on your job interview, man. I hope that really goes well for you. I know the stress of, I know, right? I know the stress of not having a job and trying to apply for new jobs just eats at the soul. Higgins, you're good, buddy. You can stop crying. That's my my old Jack Russell dog. The charger. There we go. Just stay charging. I had to plug my phone in because I didn't want to die. Oh. Okay, let's get things underway here. You're fine, buddy. He smells that beef stick I just started eating, so he's like, oh, there's something good up in your backpack. I know it, Dad. Gosh darn it. My phone is just... Who owns the saloon? Maybe we go back to Star Wars and have Jabba the Hutt own the saloon, you know? Who would be a good, like a really random saloon owner too, like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory? That'd be random. Phil Dunphy from Modern Family. Let me grab my glasses. Hey Ray, how's it going today? Actually, it's getting a little too hot in my room for a long sleeve and a long sleeve and a hoodie is just too hot. NT Gamer, how's it going? Good to see you. I bought a trailer hitch for my my station wagon, and I've been trying to install it all morning, but unfortunately the plate that goes from the bottom tube to the mounting brackets just wasn't long enough. Even though online it said it would fit, it just wasn't the option. So I shipped it back today. Danny Days, how long have I been growing out the beard? That's a good question. I haven't been clean shaven since 2019, but recently I've just been I've been trying to grow it longer, but usually I've been kind of trimming off like half of an inch or so, but now I'm just like, F it. We're gonna grow out the whole thing and see how long I can go. Now when I run, I've been wearing like beard ties to try to just keep it together. And my girlfriend braided it. She's braided it once. But yeah, it's not really, these beard ties aren't really, they're not really the business. But it's nice nice to have these when I run. I mean, it looks cool in the video when I'm running and my beard's just going all crazy, but then I can't hit my water. Hey, thanks. Yeah, I got a lot. Like I got my whole left arm's pretty tattooed and tatted up, but my left arm's my right arm's pretty bare. So today's topic is going to be a Western themed poker match, and we're trying to decide what characters would attend and who would own the bar. So if you guys have any suggestions on that, where would the first tattoo? Ooh, honestly, I'd probably recommend somewhere where you want to see it a lot, but I would make it somewhere where you wouldn't have it be shown. If like you can't hide it for work, would be my personal recommendation. That way, just in case you hate it, you'll still be covered up. But now I'm at the point where I have so many random tattoos where I don't really care where they are. I mean, I got some gaps in here I need to fill in, and if I was wearing a different shirt, it'd be easier to show you guys. Please create an alternate timeline in a Western era. What do you call that era? Like Western? It's not like medieval. Where historical figures from all timelines are there to play poker in a saloon. And so who's gonna be there for something like this? I know Davey did mention Al Capone. Hey Wolf, you made it. Good to see you. Davey also mentioned Hitler. Can we say Hitler without getting a strike? Helen Keller? Is that who you're talking about? How would she know what cards were Hitler walks in the saloon, falls silent. So yeah, so who else is there? Oh God, not Hitler. I mean, that does kind of spice it up, right? Hey, Clint, you made it. The artist who called Hitler's work bad. If they would have just been accepting of Hitler, the Holocaust wouldn't have happened, right? Al Capone is there. How do you say your name? Daisy? Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you tuning in. Let's add Steve Irwin for Clint. Steve Irwin is there too. You gotta watch out for them internet girls, man. They're just gonna start hitting on you. Thank you, Daisy. Oh, hold on a second, guys. There's my other dog. Come on, Charlie. Come on. All the way, buddy. Thank you. Oh, it is so windy here. Am I Jar Jar Binks is there. Sure. We can't. What do you guys think? I think we should skip Jar Jar Binks. It was so annoying trying to read his voice yesterday that I was like, ugh. Let's for the wolf, just say you're gay so then they'll stop hitting on you. That is a good one. Let's replace Jar Jar with Darth Maul. What do you think? What do you think about that? Well, is there maybe? Ooh, I don't know if we should do Star Wars characters though, since they don't. Okay, yeah. Let's keep Darth Maul in there. Actually. Um. Hannibal Lecter. Okay. Okay. Like it. I like it. How many people do you need for a poker match? So we got Hitler, Al Capone, Steve Irwin, Darth Maul, and Hannibal Lecter. I think we need one more. It's so weird that Steve Irwin would be there. He's like the nicest one out of the whole group, right? What about oh, infamous and bad guys? Okay, I was gonna say Pee Wee Herman, but if we're gonna stick for infamous and bad guys, then we should maybe Pee Wee Herman isn't the guy. A famous couple. So then, what do you guys think? For everyone watching, should we get rid of Steve Irwin there? Sorry, my voice is all jacked up. I think I'm coming down with a cold. Indiana Jones. Boom. Okay, that balances it out. And Jones. We Drake and Khloe Kardashian. We'll somehow we'll figure out a way to tie them in. Please. Let's just, all right, let's just, boom. Let's fire away. Let's see what happens. Drink some water here. Wolf, are you more of a Drake fan or are you more of a Kendrick Lamar fan? So it's called, the title is A Hand of Fate in the Dusty Gulch Saloon. You guys ready for this? The Dusty Gulch Saloon was the kind of place where whiskey poured like water, cigars smoldered in the dim lamplight, and reputations were won or lost over a game of cards. The wooden floor creaked beneath the weight of legends gathered around the biggest poker table on the side of the Mississippi. Drake, you only know Drake because he is one of Khloe Kardashian's kids' dads. I don't think Drake owns. Does Drake have any kids with Khloe? I thought Khloe was with all right, Clint, we'll be here. I thought Khloe was hooked up with Lamar Odom. And I think Drake only has a kid with a stripper. But anyways, all right, let's get into this. At the head of the table, Al Capone shuffles the deck with the practiced ease of a man who has seen every trick in the book and written a few himself. His sleeves are rolled up, revealing forearms thick as tree trunks, tattooed with the stories of a life lived outside the law. Across from him, Steve Irwin leaned forward, grinning. "Crikey, mate, now that's a hand you don't want to play blind." He tapped the brim of his dusty Outback hat and adjusted the worn leather vest over his khaki shirt. To his right, Indiana Jones tips his fedora back, one hand resting on his holstered revolver. "Cards and criminals. Feels like a setup. What's the buy-in?" he muttered, scanning the room with his usual wary gaze. Sitting stiffly, expression unreadable, was Hannibal Lecter. His gloved fingers traced the edges of his cards delicately. "It's not about the buy-in, dear Indiana. It's about the meal one makes of the game." He smiled, his teeth glinting unnervingly in the flickering light. On the far side of the table, Darth Maul sat motionless, his red and black tattooed face eerily illuminated by the low-hanging saloon lamps. His dual lightsaber rested on the table beside his drink, a strangely smoky liquid that no bartender had dared ask about. The others weren't sure even if he understood the rules of poker, but no one wanted to call him out. The atmosphere was lively. The piano in the corner played a cheery tune, whiskey glasses clinked, and cigar smoke curled lazily towards the ceiling until the doors to the saloon slammed open. A gust of dry wind blew in, carrying it with a suffocating silence. There, standing in the doorway, was Adolf Hitler. The pianist stopped mid-note. A bartender dropped a glass. The laughter in the room died instantly, replaced by tense murmurs and shifting eyes. Even Al Capone, no stranger to dealing with monsters, narrowed his gaze and tightened his grip on his whiskey glass. Steve Irwin's eyes darkened. "Oh, mate, you might want to turn yourself right back around." Darth Maul, unfazed, simply stared. His Sith eyes locked onto the unwelcome guest. Hannibal Lecter, ever the one to observe, steepled his fingers. "Ah, now here is an unwanted ingredient in our little stew." Indiana Jones was already reaching for his whip. "You've got 5 seconds to get the hell out of here before we have a real history lesson." Hitler's eyes darted around the room, taking in the faces of the men, each in a legend in their own right, but he had no words. He was not meant to be here. Then, without another sound, he turned on his heel and walked back out into the dusty, endless void of the Wild West night. The doors swung shut, a beat of silence. Then Al Capone took a slow sip of his whiskey, set it down, and reached for the deck. "Well, fellas," he said, grinning, "what do you say we keep playing?" And with that, the Dusty Gulch saloon returned to its usual rowdy self, leaving the ghost of history to wander the desert alone. Well, let's make Hitler sit down at the table. Make Hitler sit down at the poker. Add Slim Shady and John Wick. I like that. I like that. Join in the game. But add Slim Shady and John Wick into the saloon too. Because it's kind of lame that they just made Hitler just like do a 180 and walk out, right? Okay. So it changed it up a little bit. Here we go. So we'll just, should we start from the very beginning then? So the Dusty Gulch Saloon was the kind of place where whiskey flowed freely, cigars burned low, and trouble always had a seat at the table. Tonight, legends, outlaws, and outright lunatics gathered under the dim, swaying oil lamps for a game of poker like no other. At the center of it all, Al Capone shuffled the deck, his thick fingers moving with practiced ease. A fat cigar dangled from his lips as he scanned the table. Across from him, Steve Irwin cracked a smile, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of a new encounter. "This is a real crock of a poker game, mate," Steve chuckled, adjusting his hat. "Never thought I'd be sitting next to a Sith Lord, a fedora-wearing archaeologist, and, well, him." The him in question was Hannibal Lecter, who sat eerily composed, his fingers gently tapping the side of his whiskey glass. "Poker is a game of patience, dear Steve," he murmured, "much like dinner." Indiana Jones, sitting 2 seats over, raised an eyebrow. "I don't like the way you said that." On the far end, Darth Maul sat in silence, his yellow Sith eyes scanning the table. He had no drink, no cigar, no expression, just quiet, seething energy. The saloon door slammed open. A gust of dry wind sent a ripple of tension through the air as Adolf Hitler stepped inside. The room went dead silent. The pianist's hands froze above the keys. The bartender dropped a glass. Every pair of eyes turned towards the door. Hitler surveyed the room with an awkward smirk, clearly expecting a reaction. He adjusted his coat, dusted off his lapel, and with an exaggerated sense of confidence, he marched right up to the poker table. "I will join this game," he announced, pulling out an empty chair. Yeah, Dave was here the last stream. A few players exchanged glances. Capone exhaled smoke through his nose. Steve Irwin tilted his head like a confused cockatoo. "Yeah, nah, mate," Steve said slowly. "That ain't happening." "Let him sit," Hannibal said. Ever the provocateur. He'll either lose or we'll make him disappear. His lips curled into a cryptic smirk. Al Capone stared at Hitler long and hard, fingers drumming on the table. Then, with a slow nod, he gestured to the seat. Fine, Capone murmured. But if you cheat, you're going to feel our feet first. Hitler sat down, his fingers twitched over his cards. He had a terrible poker face. Darth Maul simply grunted. The game resumed. Before I go any further, have you guys ever seen the videos where they're called Hitler Reacts? And it's from a movie, like a, I don't know if you call it fictional, not fictional movie. But it's like where they're in a bunker and it's all in German, but then they take English subtitles. And in the scene, one of the German lines fall in World War II, right? And so it's like Hitler reacting to that, and it was super popular. It must have been like 10, 13 years ago when these videos were popping up, but they were hilarious. And there's so many of them out there. Like Hitler reacts to whatever you could think of. It's probably existed. Okay, so Darth Maul simply grunted. The game resumed. Have I seen Jojo Rabbit? No, I can't say I ever have. This is when I wish I need to figure out a way to get my laptop to have OBS and do it off of there. So then we could just like watch YouTube videos and stuff. Like, oh, have you guys seen this? And we'll be able to pull it up and show everyone. As the first hand was dealt, the saloon doors burst open again. John Wick walked in, dusty, bloodied, and pissed off. His black suit was torn, his shirt smeared with gunpowder. He walked straight to the bar, wordlessly ordering a whiskey. The bartender, shaking, poured him a double without a word. Everyone knew John Wick had a reputation, the kind that even legends feared. Oh, interesting. I'll have to check it out. John knocked back his whiskey, wiped his mouth, and deadpanned. Somebody touched my horse. A single nod of understanding rippled through the room. No one questioned further. Then one last figure entered. The doors creaked open, and Slim Shady, yes, Eminem himself, strode in. Coat flaring behind him, his swagger was unmatched. He surveyed the room, scoffed, and muttered, "What kind of alternate reality fanfic shit is this?" Then, with zero hesitation, he walked up right to the piano. Yo, get up. The pianist, fearing for his life, scrambled off the bench as Slim Shady took his place. He cracked his knuckles, stretched his fingers, and suddenly he started freestyling. Now picture this, a cowboy flick, poker chips, Hitler's sitting in, but the room's full of lunatics. Maul's got horns, Wick's pissed, Indy's got a whip, Capone's got a gun and he's loading up a clip. Steve's here with Crocs, Lecter's got thoughts, and I'm Slim Shady. Now let's raise the stakes on this pot. The room erupted. Capone was laughing, Steve Irwin was clapping, Indiana Jones nodded approvingly, Hannibal Lecter gave a slow, ominous smile, and John Wick just drank his whiskey in silence. Even Darth Maul bobbed his head ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Hitler, sweating bullets, stared at his cards like he was trying to time travel out of the situation. You gonna call or fold, mate? Steve asked, eyes narrowing. Hitler gulped. The room waited, and then Hitler folded. Without a word, he stood up, turned around, and walked out into the night, disappearing forever into the desert. The doors swung shut. Al Capone took a long sip of his whiskey and smirked. Well, boys, he said, flicking his cigar ash on the floor, let's keep playing. And with that, the strangest poker night in history continued. Well, what next? Hey, Parveen. Good to see you, dude. Hope all has been well. We're just creating an alternate timeline in the Wild Wild West with some random historic figures. Don't worry, this is just water. If you guys are curious, I shot an event on Saturday, or Sunday, sorry. And there was a booth called Saratoga, and they were giving out water, and I was like, and they gave me a carbonated one. I was like, phew. Yeah, Parveen's been here for a while. He's been a watcher for quite a while. He started hanging out when we were filling bottles, and just tuned in ever since. what happens next? It's so interesting though that the Chat GPT just makes Hitler just walk out. Like, all right, I'm not welcome here. I'm out. The Dusty Gulch saloon buzzed with energy. The most legendary poker game in the history was back in motion, now missing one very unwanted participant. Okay, we need some females here. I'm game with that. Should we have someone from the USSR? How can we incorporate the USSR into the incorporate USSR and some. Is there any female some female ones that come to mind? What about like, are we thinking good ones or bad ones? Because if we do good ones, the USSR was what Russia was before. Was it Russia or the Soviet Union? I think maybe a little bit of both. Bonnie and Clyde. Boom. Anything else before we hit enter? All I said was incorporate the USSR and Bonnie and Clyde. So give you guys a second for the chat to load. All right. Boom. Is that a virtual tuber? We had someone come in. I was doing a stream when I was just filling bottles, and they said they were a virtual tuber manager out of Japan. Okay, so it's loading up right now. The West gets wilder, and the stakes get deadlier. The Dusty Gulch Saloon has seen some strange nights before, but never like this. The poker table was filled with the most dangerous, legendary, and downright insane figures from history and fiction. And then the doors blew open once more. The wind howled, the lamps flickered, and a new kind of cold swept in. Marching through the door wearing a thick Soviet greatcoat and flanked by two grim-faced soldiers was Joseph Stalin. The piano player damn near fainted. Slim Shady, who had been freestyling at the piano, froze mid-rhyme. Even Clint Eastwood's squint got squintier. Behind Stalin, the red flag of the USSR flapped in the wind. He took slow, deliberate steps towards the bar, cigar smoke curling around his face. Ah, he said in his deep, thick Russian accent, I see capitalism is thriving here. His steel gray eyes scanned the mountains of gold coins and poker chips on the table. Al Capone smirked, tipping his hat. This is America, pal. We play for money, not for Mother Russia. Stalin gave a humorous chuckle, snapping his fingers. One of his soldiers slammed down a metal briefcase on the table, flipping it open. Inside, pure Soviet gold. I play, Stalin announced, pulling out a chair. Indiana Jones ran a hand down his face. You gotta be kidding me. But before anyone could react further, another storm of gunfire erupted outside. I'm just gonna pull up the stream on my end so I can have a pop-out chat here. Your favorite is Camilla. She even has a few songs. Interesting. So, but it's like a whatchamacallit, right? It's just you can't like see a real person, right? It's just a kind of a meme, or not a meme, but what do you call that? Not bitmoji, or a memoji, but it's like a virtual avatar. There we go. This is getting good, yeah, right. Bonnie and Clyde roll in. A bullet shattered the saloon window. The doors flung open violently as a Ford Model 18 V8 came crashing through the street outside, tires screeching in the dust. Bonnie and Clyde leapt out, guns smoking. The infamous outlaw couple stood in the doorway looking wild and defiant. Bonnie, her brown curls peeking out from under a tilted beret, held a smoking Tommy gun in one hand and a cigarette in the other. Well, well, well. Looks like we just stumbled into a jackpot. Clyde tipped his hat, twirling a revolver. Damn, look at this place. This some kind of dream? Ain't no way all these big shots are in the same room. Slim Shady, still by the piano, wheezed out a laugh. Yeah, buddy, welcome to the world's weirdest history book. Clint Eastwood, I don't know how he got into this, but he just showed up. Raised an eyebrow at the newcomers but said nothing, slowly sipping his whiskey. Meanwhile, Stalin just stared at Bonnie and Clyde with a cold Soviet disdain. Ah, Stalin muttered, American criminals, petty, weak. Bonnie snorted, weak? Oh, honey, we took on the whole damn U.S. government and lived to tell about it. Clyde grinned and pulled up a chair. So what's the buy-in? Darth Maul just stared. John Wick cracked his knuckles. Al Capone flicked his cigar, and Hannibal Lecter just smiled. With Stalin now at the table and Bonnie and Clyde joining the chaos, the game continued. Capone dealt the cards. The tension was thick. The pot was ridiculous. Gold, rubies, Soviet artifacts, and even a silver bullet from Eastwood. Then came the moment. Everyone watched Stalin's cold expression as he carefully pushed a pile of Soviet gold forward. All in, he announced. Silence. Then Bonnie grinned and leaned forward. Ain't no fun without a little risk. She and Clyde shoved everything they had into the pot. Capone flicked his cards down. I fold. Indiana Jones hesitated, then folded too. Seducing the men. We could try. Lecter tilted his head, then slowly slid his cards forward. Fold. Darth Maul said nothing, but his eyes burned with intrigue as he placed his cards down. That left 3 players in the game. Joseph Stalin, Bonnie and Clyde, and Clint Eastwood. Capone raised an eyebrow. All right, cowboys, show 'em. Stalin flipped his cards. 4 of a kind. A dangerous, victorious smirk crossed his face. Glorious, sweet Soviet victory. Bonnie and Clyde sharing a knowing look. Then Bonnie flipped her cards. A straight flush. The saloon erupted. Stalin's face darkened. His soldiers tensed. But before anyone could react, Clint Eastwood casually flipped over his hand. A royal flush. The room fell dead silent. Stalin froze. His soldiers went for their weapons. Eastwood reached for his gun faster. Don't, he muttered, eyes like steel. Finally, Stalin let out a slow, bitter chuckle. It seems capitalism wins this time. He stood up, but next time, history will favor the Soviets. With that, he turned and stormed out, disappearing into the night. The aftermath. The pot was huge, and Eastwood had won it all. Bonnie pouted but laughed, shaking her head. Well, sugar, it looks like we got hustled. Clyde grinned. Yeah, but damn, what a night. Capone clapped his hands together. All right, boys, drinks on me. John Wick finally spoke. Whiskey. Slim Shady stood up, dusting himself off. I gotta write a song about this. Indiana Jones muttered, I'm gonna need about 12 drinks to forget this ever happened. Hannibal Lecter just smiled and said, now, who's up for a late night snack? And Darth Maul, still silent, still terrifying, still undefeated in a fight. As the saloon doors creaked closed, the wildest poker game in history finally came to an end. Or did it? Because somewhere out there in the desert, beneath the blood-red moon, a new rider was coming. And this time, it was the Grim Reaper himself. Megan the Stallion is the female. Are you a fan of Megan the Stallion? What does she even look like? Oh, she reminds me a lot of, what's her name? Nicki Minaj? I mean, we could try to have her in there. Or is maybe, the Grim Reaper is Megan the Stallion. Let's just see what it says with that. Just prompt. I like that too, Davey. That's a good one. Yeah, we should have a fight in here going on too. So uh to say where we are now, so the Dusty Gulch saloon was still reeling from the wildest poker game in history. Stalin has stormed out in a Soviet rage. Clint Eastwood has taken the pot with a royal flush. Bonnie and Clyde were laughing off their loss. Darth Maul was still unreadable as hell. John Wick was halfway through his whiskey. Al Capone was grinning like a man who just saw history unfold. But then the wind shifted. The oil lamps flickered violently. Somewhere in the distance, a horse neighed and ran off into the dark, knowing damn well what was coming. And then, boom, the salon doors exploded off their hinges, the entire room shaking as a storm of fiery red energy burst through the entrance. I just made her the Grim Reaper. Everyone turned. Even Darth Maul lifted his head slightly, sensing a presence unlike any before. Through the smoke and glowing embers, right, John Wick gets hit by a bottle. Uh, Through the smoke and glowing embers, Bruce clicked against the wooden floor, and then she emerged. Megan the Stallion. Draped in a jet black duster, cowgirl hat tilted low, and a gold plated revolver at her hip, and a damn sheath strapped to her back. She was the Reaper. The actual no shit Grim Reaper of the Wild West. Slim Shady choked on his whiskey. Bro, what in the yeehaw hell is going on? Steve Irwin's eyes widened. Crikey, now that's a predator at the top of the food chain. Clint Eastwood took one look at her narrowed squint and his narrowed squint. John Wick set his whiskey down, slowly. Even Hannibal Lecter, the man who never looked afraid, tilted his head slightly. Megan's voice ran through the salon like a thunderclap. I heard some cowards been running their mouths in here. The entire room held its breath. Capone leaned back, exhaling a puff of cigar smoke. Depends on which cowards you're looking for, sugar. Megan grinned. Oh, you'll know. And then her eyes locked onto Darth Maul. The saloon went dead silent. Darth Maul's yellow Sith eyes burned as he rose slowly from his seat. No words, no hesitation. This was it. The wildest showdown in the West. Let's hold on a second. It's funny, you guys. So like, for the event that I did, I I added all of the photos, like a few photos, really quick to a Google Drive folder, and I shared it with all of them. But literally in under 24 hours, I had the entire photo gallery uploaded to my photography portfolio website, and I sent all the same people access. Right, like here's the full freaking gallery, and for like the past like 24 hours or so, still they've been requesting access to the Google Drive folder, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys need out of the Google Drive folder. It's all the photos are all in this main folder. You can have access to like 400 of them compared to 50. But for some reason they still want access to these 50, and I'm like, what the heck? Oh, sorry guys. I know, right? This is getting a little too provocative. Maybe I don't know if we'll really get too triple X into that one, right? So Darth Maul versus Megan the Reaper. The whole damn saloon cleared out. Yeah, I agree, Davey. I think we need to go get a fight in here after this. There's just a little bit left before we're out of fight scene. And I mean like a traditional Wild West, like saloon brawl. The whole damn saloon cleared out. Tables were overturned, whiskey bottles shattered, and men dove behind barrels. Maul reached for his double-bladed lightsaber. Megan reached for her Sith. The weapons ignited at the same time. Red versus red. The saloon burned with crimson light. Then they charged. Clash. Maul swung high. Megan ducked and rolled. Sparks flew. Megan's sheath scraped along Maul's saber. Wood shattered. The salon floor cracked beneath their footwork. Capone lit another cigar. I see some crazy shit, but this takes the cake. Clint Eastwood just nodded, eyes locked onto the fight. The final showdown. The Reaper wins. Megan twirled her sheath like a tornado of pure destruction. Maul was fast, but she was faster. With one final swing, boom! Megan sliced right through Maul's saber. The Sith Lord stumbled back, stunned, and then bam! Megan kicked Maul straight through the damn saloon. Megan kicked Maul straight through the damn saloon doors, sending him crashing into the dirt outside. The room went silent. Maul, dazed, bloody, and defeated, looked up in time to see Megan the Reaper standing over him. She blew a kiss, then spun her sheath and planted it in the dirt. Now that's what I call a hot girl summer. The aftermath. The crowd lost their minds. Slim Shady damn near passed out. Yo, nah, that was the most savage thing I've ever seen. Bonnie and Clyde freaked out. John Wick nodded in respect. Clint Eastwood finally broke his poker face and smirked. Damn. Hannibal Lecter? He just clapped slowly, appreciating the violence. Al Capone chuckled, shaking his head. Guess we got ourselves a new legend in town. Megan walked back into the saloon like nothing happened. She slid into an empty chair, crossed her legs, and picked up a glass of whiskey. Now, she said, swirling the drink, who's dealing? Capone laughed and flicked the deck. Lady, I think you just won the whole damn game. The end? Or is it? Because somewhere in the distance a new storm was brewing. And this time, the Terminator was coming. Should we have the Terminator fight some people? Gosh, I hope I'm not getting sick. You can just wake up in the morning sometimes and just feel it. And I take zinc like pretty religiously. Zinc, vitamin D, and C. But, enter the Terminator. We should make like what if Megan the Stallion was kind of like a Sarah no. The Terminator is sent to protect Sarah Connors. But what if he has to what if the Terminator is sent there because he has to kill someone for the timeline, right? Like in the Terminator movies, but which one would it be? Okay. Make the Terminator get bumped. He gets bumped by which one? Enter the Terminator to play poker. But then he gets bumped by, should we just say one of them? And then that starts the fight? Okay, we'll just say one of them. And that erupts, ERUPTS, into a brawl. So now we're up to part 5. It's just funny that, so every single time it starts it out, it just keeps leaving out the Hitler part. That's so interesting. So the Dusty Gulch Saloon has already survived. Nice. That's super exciting. We got 15 minutes left here. So we got the wildest poker game in history, Joseph Stalin losing big and storming out, Bonnie and Clyde joining the chaos, Darth Maul getting his ass kicked by Megan the Stallion, aka the Reaper. The dust had barely settled, whiskey flowed, cigars burned, Slim Shady was still freestyling, and then boom. The saloon, I don't know why I keep saying salon. The saloon doors blasted off the hinges again. A hulking metal figure stepped inside. Clint Eastwood squinted even harder. John Wick set his whiskey down slowly. Hannibal Lecter gave an intrigued little smile. It was him. The Terminator. Fully clad in black leather, sunglasses reflecting off the saloon lights, a shotgun strapped to his back, the man, or rather the machine, scanned the room, his robotic eyes flickering red. I am here to play poker. Silence. Capone exhaled the smoke. Well, hell, if that don't beat all. Megan the Stallion smirked, sipping her whiskey. Damn, y'all got robots in this town now? The Terminator marched forward, unbothered. With a stiff motion, he sat down at the poker table. Clint Eastwood dealt the cards, unfazed. Hope you know how to play, metal man. The Terminator took his cards, scanned them, calculated 12,439,320,000 possible outcomes in 0.02 seconds. He pushed a pile of gold forward. All in. The table groaned. Clyde laughed. Damn, Tin Man plays aggressive. Slim Shady muttered, Man's got a built-in poker calculator. And then it happened. The accident that started a war. As Capone reached for the deck, Bonnie leaned over to kiss Clyde and accidentally bumped into the Terminator's shoulders. Mistake. The Terminator's head snapped towards her. His red eyes flared. Warning, warning, threat detected. Do not touch me. Bonnie, unfazed, rolled her eyes. Relax, metalhead. It was an accident. Clyde snorted. Man's acting like we scratched his damn paint job. Bad move. The Terminator stood up violently. The entire poker table flipped over, sending gold, cards, and whiskey flying. Hostile engaged. Then all hell broke loose. The wildest saloon brawl in history begins. John Wick flips his chair back, dodging a whiskey bottle. Capone grabs a shotgun from under the table. Megan the Stallion chugs her whiskey, then throws the glass at the Terminator's head. Darth Maul, still pissed from losing, ignites his lightsaber and leaps into the fight. Clint Eastwood, he just sighs, cracks his knuckles, and starts throwing haymakers. The Terminator grabs Bonnie by the collar and lifts her off the ground. You will be terminated. But before he can act, Clyde shoots him point blank in the face. Bang, bang, bang. The Terminator doesn't even flinch. Bonnie, still dangling, mutters, well, shit. Then, bam. Megan the Stallion super kicks the Terminator in the chest. He staggers back, releasing Bonnie. Boom. John Wick roundhouse kicks him in the jaw. Boom. Clint Eastwood pistol whips him across the face. Boom. Darth Maul. Hey, Clint, welcome back. Darth Maul force pushes the Terminator through the wall. Meanwhile, at the bar, Slim Shady is just watching, sipping his whiskey. Man, I don't know what the F is happening, but this is the best day of my life. Hannibal Lecter takes a sip of wine and nods. Yes, quite entertaining. Back in the fight. The Terminator emerges from the rubble, eyes glowing, leather jacket ripped. Assessing threat level. High. He pulls out his shotgun, but before he can fire, boom. A whiskey bottle shatters against his head. He turns. It's Bonnie, holding another bottle. She winks. Catch, big guy. Boom. She throws the second bottle directly at his face. Bam. The Terminator falls back through the wall again. The entire saloon watches in silence and dust settles. Then, thud. The Terminator's metal hands rises from the debris, then twitches, then collapses. System failure. Terminator defeated. The aftermath. The Dusty Gulch saloon is destroyed. Tables shattered, chairs broken, the bar half collapsed. Bonnie and Clyde are high-fiving. Megan the Stallion is dusting off her jacket. John Wick picks up his whiskey glass, which somehow survived, and drinks. Capone lights another cigar. Clint Eastwood tips his hat. Darth Maul just storms off, pissed at everything. Slim Shady stands up and declares, Hey yo, that was some wild-ass shit. We need another round of drinks. On me. The salon erupts into cheers. So then the final scene. The camera pans to the outside of town. In the dark desert, the wreckage of the Terminator lies motionless. Then, his red eyes flicker back on. The screen cuts to black. To be continued? Question mark. All right, Ghost Rider, the sheriff, comes in to end arrest, shut down the party. And I think this will be it because we're almost at 50 minutes here. So Megan the Stallion adjusts her black duster and gold-plated revolver. Woo, that was fun. John Wick sat down, finished his whiskey. Clint Eastwood was still squinting. Capone exhaled a puff of cigar smoke. And then when it seems like things were settling down, boom, boom, boom. Heavy bootsteps echoed outside. Then a massive fireball exploded through the doors. Everyone turned, and there, standing in the doorway, was the sheriff, Ghost Rider. Decked out in a long, flaming trench coat, a burning sheriff's badge pinned to his chest, and a chain wrapped around his fist. His skull blazed like hell itself. His motorcycle roared behind him, spitting hellfire. His eyes burned with vengeance. The entire saloon went dead silent. Bonnie muttered, "Well, shit." Slim Shady choked on his whiskey. "Yo, y'all got a flaming skeleton lawman?" Capone groaned and rubbed his temples. "Oh, well, hell, it's the goddamn sheriff." Clint Eastwood barely reacted. He just nodded. "Figures." Ghost Rider stepped forward. His voice rumbled like an earthquake in the underworld. "This party is over." The flames in Ghost Rider's skull burned brighter as he surveyed the chaos. "Y'all have broken every law in this town. Gambling, destruction of property, assault, bringing a goddamn robot from the future into my jurisdiction." His fiery finger pointed at Capone. "You, tax evasion." Capone scuffled. "That's the worst thing on the list?" Ghost Rider ignored him. He turned to Darth Maul. "You, illegal space magic." Maul groaned, gripping his broken lightsaber. "Your law means nothing to me." Ghost Rider cracked his flaming chain. "Want to test that, Horns?" Then his skull snapped toward Megan the Stallion. "You, public menace." Megan grinned, tipping her hat, and proud of it. Ghost Rider stepped forward. "I'm shutting this place down." Then the Terminator, who just reactivated outside, stormed back into the saloon. "Negative. Targets are to be terminated, not arrested." The Terminator raised his shotgun. Ghost Rider didn't even blink. He grabbed the barrel of the shotgun and melted it with his bare hand. The saloon collectively gasped. The Terminator froze. His robotic mind calculated, "Air, air, air." Ghost Rider leaned in close. "I don't do targets, Tin Man. I do judgment." And then Ghost Rider punched the Terminator through the damn wall. Boom. The sheriff wasn't playing around. He cracked his flaming whip chain and started rounding up everyone. Clint Eastwood drew his revolver. John Wick pulled out his Glock. Megan the Stallion flexed her knuckles. Bonnie and Clyde reloaded their Tommy guns. Darth Maul lit his lightsaber again. Capone rolled up his sleeves. "I busted enough kneecaps to handle this." The final showdown begins. John Wick flipped a table and opened fire. Capone ducked behind the bar, throwing whiskey bottles like grenades. Megan dropkicked the Terminator's twitching body. Slim Shady stood on the piano, rapping about the chaos. And Ghost Rider, he was whooping everybody's ass. He lassoed Darth Maul with his flaming chain. He backhanded Clyde through a wall. He dropkicked Capone into the piano. He summoned a fireball and yeeted the Terminator into orbit. Then he grabbed Slim Shady by the collar. You're under arrest too." Slim Shady held up his hands. "Bro, I ain't even done nothing." Ghost Rider's eyes burned. "Your lyrics are a crime." Boom, Slim Shady got yeeted through the window. One by one, Ghost Rider took them all down. Capone arrested. Bonnie and Clyde arrested. Darth Maul dragged away, growling in Sith rage. John Wick, okay, he just walked away because nobody wanted to fight him. And finally, Ghost Rider stood in the middle of the wrecked saloon. The bar was on fire. The poker table was destroyed. The Terminator was a smoking crater in the desert. He cracked his knuckles. This town is closed. And with that, he swung his fiery chain, and the entire saloon collapsed. The aftermath. Capone and the rest were locked in Ghost Rider jail. Darth Maul escaped, swearing revenge. John Wick disappeared into the night. Slim Shady wrote a diss track about Ghost Rider. The Dusty Gulch saloon burned to the ground. And somewhere deep in the desert, the Terminator's red eyes flickered back on. "I'll be back." Dang. What a story, you guys. That was a really good one. We got about we got about 5 minutes left here. So let's just talk about ideas for tomorrow's. What do you guys think about? Oops. That's gonna kill the chat. What do you guys think we should do for tomorrow's alternate reality? Oops, actually I'm gonna go to my channel. I know, right? I'm sad that it didn't really keep Hitler in for very long. He's just like, all right, I lost and I'm out of here. Magneto became a Sith Lord in the Star Wars universe. That would be a funny one. We haven't done anything superhero related, to be honest. So that would be a good I like it. I like it. Yeah, something in the Marvel universe. I haven't seen. Okay, I've seen the first Avengers, but then after that, I just got so lost. There's just way too many of them. Um, we need to place an event. I wonder how it would be if. What if we took all of the DC characters and added them to the Marvel, or like just swapped them, right? So like Batman's actually in Marvel, but Iron Man's actually in DC or something like that. Oh dang! While we're here, really quick, where does it go? Have you guys been following the high school reunion? That's a good one. Which stream do I want? The crew actually is left. The crew that was trapped up in the space station for a good while, they're actually about to land and crash down into the ocean. Let's see, do I have audio?
Everything that Dragon is doing, along with those tablets that they have there on their.
So that's super cool. I'm a big fan of space, as you guys know on my channel. I film every single launch that I can. And the crew is coming back out of the space station. I mean, obviously. So they got 58 minutes until they splash down. Let me send this to my buddy that's also into space stuff. Hooters. All right. I like where this is going. So all the Marvel characters come back for a high school reunion at Hooters. Did you actually hear that Hooters is going out of business now? They filed for bankruptcy, and they're going to be closing soon. And I guess all of their or not models, all of their waitresses actually make more money on OF, so they don't have anyone working there anymore apparently. Hey Mike, good to see you. Sweet. Well, I appreciate you guys. We got about 20 seconds left. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Today was a pretty fun one. It was really interesting, just like yesterday's was. But yeah, I'll see you guys again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not sure where that is, what time zone you guys are in, but for here on the West Coast, it's 1 p.m. for me. And yeah, as always, guys, this was so much fun for me to do. Yeah, Mike, you were so late. You almost made it. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, do something every single day to make yourselves better than you were yesterday. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Just I'll make another community tab or just comment on the one from last or old one, and we'll just we'll make it happen tomorrow. See you guys.